Greetings and salutations, my dear esteemed guests. This is, of course, your favorite crypto investigator, Light here, and today we are going to be talking about grass. No, we're not talking about weed. We're talking about these extensions, which referral links are being shilled on every Telegram, Discord, and by influencers. Even I have mentioned briefly on a video of mine before I got this information, that is. So it's a very well-known project among the Airdrop hunters, for example. It has already 500,000 users using the extension, which is available on Chrome, then it's available on Edge, and on the Solana Saga phones, which I believe also are getting a bonus if they sign up through that. And then it's going to be on Google Play Store and Apple App Store on mobile devices this Q1. So the idea of the extensions and the apps is to basically sell out your unused internet data. So a lot of the times, at least in civilized countries, we have unlimited data plans. At least I have. So it kind of makes sense to get the extension, since I'm not downloading stuff like 24/7, to have that extension to basically sell out my unused data, okay? And get paid for it in these points, which are going to be converted eventually into tokens. But there are a lot of concerns with grass, which I have found throughout my investigations and information put out by other people prior to me, which was kind of like the basis of this investigation in the first place. So let's kind of start by evaluating a bit of the grass as a project and what type of information we can find out about it. So I already kind of explained out kind of like the main basis here and how it works. The website is very clean looking, looks very professional. The actual extension, it is verified on Google Chrome Store. And everything from that front seems to be looking good. And this is not like a new model, by the way. We have Honeygain and others, which we have featured on the channel, by the way. So it's not like a new innovation, but they are leveraging a bit of AI here, which is collecting data, and they're feeding that data to AIs. And then they also have a very lucrative, referral system, which is basically building out this very grassroots, pun intended, movement to basically people chilling out the project. And that's also part of the problem when people have bags in certain projects, which I have exposed, by the way, in the recent years and etc. They get extremely protective when you're exposing their project, and then they're doing this counterfeit, try to report your videos. Last time they basically tried to, when I exposed Big Eyes, they were trying to take my videos down, copyright strikes. It was a big process. And these guys have also raised out a lot of money, 3.5 million, which is a lot of money, by the way. And then that is in total, I believe, 4.5 million because they got a pre-seed round by No Limit Holdings. Now, I'm not very familiar with a lot of these investors here. The things I know is Polychain and Tribe Capital. But the thing is, even scams have raised money from VCs. That's not a new thing. But what concerns me is the idea that, okay, you got these legit investors in who are raising the money, but the team is anonymous, okay? And the Grass protocol is basically run by this thing called the Wynd Network, not to be, mistaken with that Juno Dex, WyndDao, nothing to do with that. But the Wynd Network, basically, when you go into their website, it barely has any information. It basically redirects you to the Grass extension, and to learn more, just kind of talks about, stuff. And this is the whole website. There is an email link. There is a Medium page where they have talked about kind of stuff, and then there is a Twitter account, but there's nothing really here of solid information. So we don't know who is the CEO of Wynd, who are the developers of Wynd. So far, when you go through all these things, let me tell you things we are not able to find. The list goes: no GitHub, no open source code for the extension or the thing that they are using on the background, no smart contract, no audits, no blockchain announced for Wynd, and no team announced. There's not even a token, smart contract available. So we have nothing. We have this extension, and then there's obviously the extension's version on mobile, okay? So that's all the information we have. So we blindly have to trust this team who is anonymous. Yeah, they are on the Discord, but they don't have LinkedIn profiles. They don't have Twitters. They're just names with avatars, which are avatars, by the way, which are not real faces, as far as I remember. So that's kind of dubious to me, because you are okay. So what are they doing basically, as it's stated on the FAQ, is they are selling that data to what they have said, Fortune 500 companies. That is basically being gathered. Okay, they don't name which Fortune 500 companies those are, and there's no connection tab here, contact us, and like, if I'm like a company, how do I lease this information? How do I buy the information from here? There's no contact page for that. There's that email, which is, by the way, info.Wynd Network. I don't think that's like the admin's, like the CEO's email address, by the way. So who am I exactly? Where is the portal to basically contact and get in touch to get this information at? So that's kind of dubious to me. And the worst is to come, because there are some issues here. So I just want to say that is like not a very good thing to have like literally no information. If you are already getting money from the VCs are doing some type of a KYC, obviously. Like, that's granted. So if you're already giving the information to the VCs, why are you not giving any information about the team, the code, blah, 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 to the public to gain trust? Obviously, people are going to be aping without doing research, obviously. Now, there has been this extension FUD, which kind of started out this thing. So this is the big red flag here. So when you go into the extension on Chrome Web Store, it says, this is the data that it's collecting, by the way. Names, addresses, emails, age, and identification number. So identification number, I don't know what it means. Is it passport in this context? That's kind of bad if it is. The other stuff I kind of understand to a degree. You need to know your IP. But that's like separate things. So it needs your IP in order to sell you internet data. That's okay, that makes sense. But it needs your passwords, credentials, security questions, and your PIN to your Windows or to other things. That's fucking sus as fuck. Like, let's be honest about that. Like, that's like alarming amount of information which you are basically allowing the extension to gather. And then there has been, when I went to their Discord and asked about this, like, why exactly do you need to collect that data from throughout the extension? That seems unnecessary in order to basically sell out your bandwidth, okay? And I understand the IP thing, it makes sense. That's like totally on there. And there's been a couple of rebuttals here. And it says, first of all, like a lot of the core team members, this is one of the core team members, and that, by the way, it's a football player, that's not the real guy, says that the permissions that are taken by the extension, they have been pulling out this narrative. Every member of the like people who are like shills, and everybody says basically that, okay, this extension is taking less, rights than the ad blocks are. Like, and that's basically their like rebuttal. Like, it's not taking anything ad block, yada yada. And the passports that are being collected are only the passports for the actual extension, because when you're creating an account to the extension, you obviously do going to be having an email and password to log in, because it doesn't have a Web3 login, which, by the way, would be more secure way to do this, and then it wouldn't need to actually collect that fucking data. So, but when I actually went through to see all these other extensions, like AdBlock Ultimate, they're not collecting that data. AdBlock, not collecting that data. AdGuard, AdBlocker, not collecting that data. So basically, none of these ad blockers are collecting that specific data. So that's a lie. That's a very big problem when a team actually gets caught in a lie. When you make the claim, oh, ad blocks are collecting more data than our extension is, it doesn't seem like that according to the Chrome Web Store. Once again, these are the informations that are being collected by the Chrome Web Store. And then there is the Honeygame, which is like the most, this is like the direct competitor, right? This is Honeygame is the biggest one. And even they don't collect that information on their app. And by the way, for some reason, Honeygame doesn't have an extension version. I don't know why is that. Maybe that's just exactly why, because it would be collecting like unnecessary information and would be illegal, and that's why it's rejected by Chrome, or Google that is. So that's interesting. And then there's like one more I want to show, which we talked about just a minute ago, or a couple of weeks ago. We did a video on the Cyrus crypto wallet, which is selling your data, by the way. and even they do not collect the same information. They collect different stuff like IPs, and they take the personal information, web history, user activity, and the website context. But they don't collect, even they do not collect passwords. So that's a sus to me. Why is this being collected here? And then there's like last point I want to make. And yeah, in case you want to look into these other tools, I have a article I did ages ago in my website, still relevant by the way. So in case you want to lease that internet, but there's like I always said that these are kind of shady things, and always have been. So here is the interface of the GetGrass thing. And obviously I made some money throughout the referrals. I do have my referral link down below. So if you don't believe in this, whatever you want to call it, FUD or something, you can sign under me into Grass and start doing this. But yesterday I did not open out the Edge browser at all. So it's running out actually, I believe, on the Windows background. So it was able to accumulate me points even though I didn't open it on January 14 or on the 13th. I did not open my Edge browser. So that's something a bit worries me. But then again, like I don't have my other extensions really here on Grass. So that's kind of where I have isolated right now the Grass protocol extension, because at least according to Edge, it's not requiring any special permissions, whatever that means. But it's like I don't know. It doesn't really give you like a lot of information on Edge's side, like what is being collected and things like that. But that's kind of what I'm trying to get at this point, is that there's a lot of things that we should know, like the white paper, the team, smart contracts, what blockchain are you giving, any audits for the code you're running. And that is not a fucking audit that you have your verified badge on fucking Google store. Anybody can basically have this. It just says that there's no record of violations for the publisher. That's not like a golden stamp, just so you know. So kind of like if you want to run this extension, isolated browser or isolated dummy phone, because I think there's much of a security risk here about passwords being stolen. And even if they wouldn't be doing that, there's a chance that the thing can get hacked and somebody will use that information. So I think we need more transparency from projects like this, especially because they're getting people's wallets being stolen all the time. And right now, I think I just needed to do this video to kind of raise the concerns regarding this Grass thing and all this stuff revolving around it. So I don't really have much else to add because I haven't really done that much further digging into the domains. Are they linked into some other scams and things like that? If somebody has the time, please look into that. But as for now, I'm not really recommending using this, at least on your main browser, as of right now. I think there's too many red marks right now. Only kind of legit thing here is that investment thing. So that kind of brings a bit of like safety. Okay, these might be legit because they were able to raise this much money. But it's like, why are these unknown teams getting so much fucking money? Like, that seems money laundering or things like that, in my opinion. But that's kind of my take. I'm not going to blab any longer. I given all the information that I have about Grass, all of these red signs, and hopefully the team will address this. Why if this information hasn't been levied to the community? When are you releasing it? When are you not going to be anonymous anymore? Like, there's no reason to be anonymous, really. This is not a privacy project, and I think it would bring a lot of faith into the project if the team would actually like do something transparent like video calls or Zooms or whatever. But thanks for watching, guys. Stay tuned for more updates. We might have to do another video on Grass later on if there's more information popping out. But until then, I will be seeing you guys on the next video. Cheers.